Coming up on Medwatch today, a medical miracle via machine, the tool that saved a young woman's life when she thought it was just a case of the flu. A look ahead to what's already being called the best of the West, a heart institute providing groundbreaking cardiac care right here in the Central Valley.
I felt like my world was coming to an end.
One woman's journey from bad knees to a new lease on life. Hi there, and thanks for joining us. I'm Julie Musgrave. Right now, a young woman is alive, and a lot of the credit is being given to a machine and the team surrounding it. This is Maggie's story, who nearly died from what she thought was the flu. Maggie Knoll is 25 years old, living a pretty normal life.
I would go to school. I had a job working with children. I would, be with my friends.
But the scar on her neck tells a different story, one where she nearly died.
I thought I had the flu, and then after a couple days, once I realized I was kind of not breathing too well, I went to the urgent care, and they gave me an x-ray and told me that I was only using a little bit of one of my lungs.
Urgent care rushed her to Community Regional Medical Center, where a team, including doctors Tim Evans and Mohammed Fayed, immediately got to work.
People go from walking and talking to really critically ill and very close to death. Maggie was very much like that.
Doctors diagnosed her with Legionella pneumonia and acute respiratory stress syndrome.
This is a situation where, in a sense, the entire body becomes inflamed. The lungs take on fluid, and pretty soon they don't work like lungs.
They told me had I taken much longer, my organs were going to start failing.
It was time to turn to the ECMO machine, extracorporeal membrane oxygenation, basically a heart and lung bypass tool.
We take the blood out, we run it through a machine that takes off carbon dioxide and adds oxygen to the blood and then returns it to the body.
The patient does not have to rely on their lung completely. They're basically relying on the machine until the problem solved or resolved.
For Maggie, that was 3 weeks. Doctors Fayed and Evans say it's the team concept that makes how they treated Maggie unique to CRMC.
Certainly in the Valley, this is the only institution that really has a multidisciplinary and integrated medical team for medical ECMO.
That means experts from several fields, including heart, lung, nursing, they're all on hand to make sure everything goes like it should.
We know from experience and from data from other institutions that a team concept is more fluid, it's more dynamic, more flexible, and it really results in a much greater degree of, I think, cooperativity and success for the patient.
And it's not just survival that matters. Dr. Fayed says it's being able to move on with a normal life.
This is the most success you can get.
It's exactly what they accomplished for Maggie.
It is pretty amazing.
Maggie says, looking back, she doesn't remember much, and recovery wasn't easy. She had to wear a trach for a few weeks, go through physical therapy, and relearn how to do basic things like walking, eating, breathing.
Once you really think and you realize you can't, you just feel so helpless.
Today, she's back to her routine and recently got to visit with the doctors who saved her life.
My family doesn't even notice the scar, they forget it ever happened.
But it's a scar that tells her story of survival and something Maggie says has changed her for the better.
I feel strong, very strong. Like I did not know how much I could do until this experience.
Maggie says she's now back in school and can't wait to get back to work full-time working with children. The Central Valley is quickly becoming what's known as the best of the West when it comes to cardiac care, all thanks to a brand new heart institute, and 2 of the country's best doctors are leading the way. Dr. Bruce Lytle is a renowned cardiac surgeon with 38 years of experience who launched a major heart program through the Cleveland Clinic. He's now working in Texas, but is signed on to also help build Community Regional's new Heart Institute. And he brought along one of his best students, Dr. Christopher George, who's serving now as the medical director of cardiothoracic surgery at CRMC. We sat down with them to find out what we can expect. Dr. George and Dr. Lytle, thank you so much for both joining us here today. We appreciate it. We have something so special happening right here in the Central Valley, and it starts really with you two. Tell me a little bit more about the program that we have going.
Well, we're developing a new heart institute, and this involves us starting up a new cardiac surgery practice involved with a foundation, as well as building an institute on a grander scheme involving cardiac surgery and cardiology.
And between you two, so many years of experience that goes back to the Cleveland Clinic. And Dr. Lytle, we have you to thank to get Dr. George here in Fresno with us. Give me a little background on what your experience really is.
I spent 38 years at the Cleveland Clinic, and since that time I've been at the Heart Hospital in Baylor, Plano, Texas. And particularly at the Cleveland Clinic, and now in both of these situations, what we have tried to do is to align the direction of the physicians in the hospital. That really is the purpose of all of this. And so far we've made good progress in cardiac surgery and some in cardiology, and we're continuing down that line. The second part of it is organizing care so that the patient has access and gets recommendations from multi-specialties. So the way cardiac care has evolved in America is that different specialties play an important role in the care of the cardiac patient and have different things to offer. And we want to make certain that patients have all those choices.
And I think something that's really important to note between you two, you guys are really at the forefront of cardiac care. How does that make you feel as you walk into the workplace knowing this experience and this is what you're able to give patients right here?
Well, it was very exciting for me to come to the Central Valley to start a practice here, and my experience with Dr. Lytle at the Cleveland Clinic was very helpful in terms of shaping the vision that we're developing now.
You are based here, so we will see you walking these halls. How do you expect patients to maybe react when they realize, I have so much cardiac access here in the Central Valley, I don't have to travel across the state?
Well, obviously this is a very important thing for the Valley. The Valley is a very large place, a lot of people here, and we want people to know that they don't have to leave the Valley for world-class cardiac surgery care, particularly with the patient population that we see, the demographics, the average age group, etc. Having that care this close to home, that is a very important thing for them.
Okay, Dr. George, Dr. Lytle, really at the forefront of your game. We certainly do appreciate your time and
Thank
your
you
work.
very much.
Thank you.
Still to come on Medwatch today, don't forget to pack your vaccines, why they could be the most important thing to bring with you on summer vacation this year. Plus, a health-related reason to go ahead and treat that sweet tooth. The latest study on chocolate, that's good news for you.